Mrs. Time Crunch here. Don't start no mess today. Gun holders, put your toast away. Have a party, nothing less than
Oh
Radiant team ban.
And here we go. We're back. Actually, I had to restart a program just as we were coming live. Glad we got it all going, though. We got Zenith and we matching up here in our first round of 8 matchup of itsgosu's Monthly Madness. I'm AC, joined by Draskell for the broadcast. This is a match a lot of people have been looking forward to, Draskell. You've got Zenith, who really living up to their namesake, considered by many to be one of the best teams in the world and a real challenger heading towards the international number 2. World Elite, a team that is still living by and large off of its fame earned in Dota 1. Now, we is continuing to play Dota 1 while they transition to Dota 2. A lot of question marks have been raised as to how committed they are to Dota 2 right now, and if they're really up to snuff to live up to their legendary name. We're going to find out today as they match up against Zenith.
Well, they have made it to round of 8 so far, so I mean that's definitely nothing to shake a stick at. So they made their way here. They're going up against Zenith, who, like you said, has been having extremely strong showings lately, especially in Pro Dota 2. I think they're something like 12-1. They've only dropped 1 game the entire tournament. I mean, that's extremely impressive considering you're playing against all the rest of the best Asian teams in the world. I mean, you have IG, DK, stuff like that. So very, very well done so far by Zenith in at least, you know, the tournaments that we've seen recently, and hopefully they can continue their momentum today.
Absolutely. We got our first bans out of the way. Queen of Pain and Darkseer banned out by Zenith so far. A lot of people, by the way, are really anticipating a Naga Siren pick coming out of Zenith. We'll see if they're going to go in that direction. Apparently, World Elite watched Zenith play the other weekend. Going to ban out Templar Assassin. And unfortunately, you weren't there for the broadcast, Draskell. You had some tech issues on your side. Much thanks to Epi once again for filling in for the broadcast that day. Last time we saw Zenith, they got their hands on a Templar Assassin, and that Templar Assassin got her hands on 2 Divine Rapiers. World Elite wants no part of that.
Definitely not. I mean, TA just if she has a good start, I mean, it's almost like immediate game over, barring a couple of heroes who are pretty good at counting her. But yeah, she's a hero who is one of the most snowballiest, I would say, in the entire game. So yeah, good start on her is not going to end well for the other team. And taking it out here is definitely smart. I wasn't sure how new hero additions actually work because a lot of tournaments actually ban out heroes just automatically, like as they're added in during the tournament because it changes the way the playstyle works. But if there's a possibility for a Naga pick and it's not against the rules, then I would love to see it.
Hey, as far as I know, I'm not the admin. That is, once again, Gosu Molly, who does an amazing job in the background. Want to go ahead and plug him while I can. Well, it's not going to be a first pickup, but, well, yeah, it is going to be a first pickup Naga Siren coming out from World Elite. So Zenith not going to get her, going to get Invoker instead. And we're going to see Lycan and Naga Siren and Invoker, all 3 in a game. And yeah, this is exciting times for Dota. The heroes coming fast and furious. Chen going to follow up the Invoker pick for Zenith.
I like World Elite going with Naga and Lycan because that's just a ridiculous amount of split push potential. I mean, if you think about it, you have to commit a lot to killing a Naga or a Lycan in their own right. I mean, you can just ultimate a Naga and run away, and there's not really a whole lot you can do, but I think it's something like 1200 range on her ulti, so if you catch anybody out there with that, you can get away for free. It's kind of like your, you know, haha, you can't kill me ability. Yeah. And in the same sense, you can set up really good team fights with it as well. If you're good at positioning, you can get everybody back into place. You don't even need things like Blink anymore if you have a Naga. I mean, you can just simply walk in with your ultimate, and it's just very, very hard to deal with. But the Chen pick is some decent counter push here. Opens up their lanes a bit to do some aggressive stuff if they want to. I know some teams have kind of been delving back into that recently, not going for like the defensive tri-lane with something just like a carry to farm, and trying to really get towers early game and rely on Chen's creeps to kind of solidify them a decent start.
Oh yeah, and with the Invoker pick, and really I think this is becoming what I would tag as the prevailing meta. We'll see if it changes as we approach the International too. And again, you're going to hear myself and a lot of casters refer to that as kind of a real defining point for Dota 2 with good reason. Valve is really busting their butts to get as many heroes out to get the game in releasable shape. You know, no announcements yet. I have no insider info or anything, but obviously you would think that Dota 2's full release to the public will coincide, or at least come very close to, the International. So with things taking shape the way they have, when you see Invoker, it's becoming the prevailing meta to send him mid, have him do some sort of an X-Sword build, and then you can combine him with a hero like a Sand King. And we kind of go over this every time it's picked up, but with good reason. It is just so strong. You get a hero like a Sand King combined with an Invoker that's going X-Sword in mid, then you're going to pair Sand King with one other hard AoE stun or single target stun in a lane somewhere, and basically you can turn any fight into an instant kill if that Sand King is able to lead off with a Burrow Strike and lock down one person.
Pretty much. I mean, the coordination in itself isn't necessarily that hard as long as you have good communication in your team. It's like, okay, we're going to try to gank bottom. Let's go ahead and throw out a stun strike. And most of the time, it's going to make contact if you have any decent stuns, which I think burst strike is like 2.17 or something like that. So it's more than enough time to land up those kills in the early game. I like the fact that World Elite actually banned out Shadow Demon after seeing the Invoker pickup. I mean, that's really, really smart. That combination in itself, doesn't matter what hero you are. We've seen the potential of it. I mean, you just get Soul Catchered, you get one stun and a stun strike, and the pure damage, and being multiplied by 50% in itself is a lot to deal with. So they're not looking to deal with that. I like the fact that Zenith went and got rid of the Enchanters as well. You already have a Chen. No reason to leave it in there. Plus, I mean, World League already has a very scary push team just with a Lycan and a Naga Siren alone.
Yep.
And when they picked up the Crystal Maiden, I think it was just kind of like a safety net because they have two heroes who are very reliant on getting a good start, and they don't want to just completely close off their supports 100% because they've already taken out Shadow Demon themselves. Left was banned out, and now Pugna as well. So I like the fact that they're kind of trying to come back from the fact that, yeah, they went kind of for two really high-tier heroes, but they left their lanes very restricted.
Right.
So I think that the CM pick was very, very necessary for them in this case.
Very well said. And how often do we see that, too, where you get through the second banning phase and one team or another manages to just ban out the remaining high-level supports and really puts the other team in a bind? And I'm with you. I really like the fact that World Elite got at least one extremely effective support to go with those two extremely strong first picks. Enchantress was the last ban out from Zenith. Just want to make quick mention of that. That's become more and more of an oddity. Even in the North American European scene, you're seeing a lot less emphasis put on that hero. And Chen is really just becoming the quintessential jungler, almost always picked up, if not banned, in the first couple of picks as we see Zenith pick him up here. Enchantress, of course, has the ability to cause some problems for Chen, able to steal creeps and what have you, so taking her out, not a bad idea, just not something that you see too often. Most teams just really have moved emphasis away from her to the point that other teams just don't worry about her being picked up. So full ban list is done. We'll see how Zenith wants to proceed here. They're going to be picking first in the second ban phase, or pick phase, I should say. If you're just tuning in, again, welcome in. I'm AC, joined by Draskell for this broadcast, and this is Monthly Madness Round of 8 action. Our first Round of 8 matchup between Zenith and World Elite, and Venomancer, another very strong support going to be coming out, and even could be paired with that Sand King like we talked about. Doesn't have that hard lockdown stun, but Venomous Gale going to keep someone pretty slow and pretty much in place.
Very much so. And Venomancer, like, I don't think we're going to be seeing a jungle Lycan. It is a possibility. I'd have to see what the rest of World Elite's going to go for here. But if they do want to go for an aggressive tri-lane, which they very well could with the next Sword Invoker, I mean, it's going to be strong without a doubt. I mean, they can get some kind of early game advantage, get some tower kills, try to keep the Lycan on his side of the map for a while so you don't have to worry about, you know, him just being in a lane by himself and just abusing the fact that there's nobody there and killing your tower in, I don't know, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
He doesn't even really need items. That's just what the hero does. Right. He kills your towers really fast. So
yep.
With that being said, I think that Zenith is looking for a lot of map control here early. Venomancer's a great early game support. He has arguably the best level 1 crowd control in the game with the Gale. I mean, it lasts 15 seconds for a slow. You catch anyone with that and a follow-up from any hero, basically, Sand King, Invoker, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get an early game kill relatively easily. And for World Elite, I'm still feeling like they need some kind of early game. Naga Siren is not so great early game. I mean, once she gets some levels up, she's going to be a bit better in the addition of Riptide too. I mean, it's been a long time since I've played Warcraft 3 Dota. Back when I played, she didn't have that ability.
Right.
But now I think her early game is actually quite a bit stronger. And not to mention Ensnare is 5 seconds of not being able to do anything. Even goes through BKB as well. So. Yeah. Really strong all-around hero.
Yeah, I was actually, I mean, it's a little bit, I was a little surprised to see World Elite ban out Enigma, given they already had Naga Siren, just for that reason. But anyway, Shaker going to be picked up by the squad from China. Earthshaker, a hero, and, you know, just the differences between the different scenes that we cast. Draskell and I have spent the majority of our casting time over the last 4 or 5 months casting North American and European teams, and Shaker just gets so much more emphasis in the Asian scene, the Chinese scene in particular, and with good reason. We have seen some unbelievably oh, wow, whoa. Sniper gonna be picked up. Yeah, that's surprising. This is only the second time I've ever casted a sniper.
Well, there's a lot of good reasons behind you only being able to cast 2 snipers. Yeah. I mean, the hero, don't get me wrong, late game, the hero's great because he has so much damage and range that you can pretty much just sit in the back and do your thing, try to right-click throughout assassinates and whatnot to get kills. But for the most part, the hero is extremely susceptible to ganks. He's slow. He needs a ridiculous amount of farm to be effective, and I am really thinking this has to be a defensive try line now. Like, you can't really send Sniper to a position where he can be ganked, and especially against a Crystal Maiden Shaker and maybe even a Naga try lane right now.
Yeah.
Could be seeing a mid in the safe lane Lycan out from World Elite. It is a possibility. I mean, that is really, really scary to think about, and they're going to go with the Tide Hunters, so I'm actually kind of thinking they're going to do a 2-2-1 now, seeing that hero come out, because they have 2 melee supports, and they have, at the very least, some kind of potential for that. But yeah, their lanes are a little bit strange. We're going to see what World Elite wants to do here. I think that right now Zenith has a lot more flexibility, but I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Sniper has to be the weirdest pick I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, the last time, I can't remember if you were with me. This was a long time ago. I remember the match very specifically. I think it was me and you that did it. We were casting, and it was Darer during the online qualifiers for Monthly Madness Season number 1. And they built a Divine Rapier. I think that was the case. I could be completely wrong, and it's been so long. But yeah,
it was there.
Yeah, but it was there, and they rushed out Divine Rapier on Snipers. So yeah, we'll see how it's going to work out. Looks like Invoker is going to be going mid, played by Ice Ice. Speaking of, let's run through our lineups quickly as we can. As pointed out, Invoker with his sweet new gear going to be run mid by Ice Ice. The surprise pick from Zenith and Sniper going to be played by Lord. I'm just going to call him that. Chen going to be handled by Freedom. Our Venomancer are going to be played by a stand-in. That's something else worth mentioning. Both teams are using a stand-in today. Finesse Meister going to be the stand-in playing Venomancer on the side of Zenith, and Sand King going to be played by XY. Across the river, Shaker going to be played by Luo. Lycan going to be handled by Icy. We're going to see FNTY or Finty, however that's pronounced, handling our Naga Siren. Chan going to be running our Tide, and Crystal Maiden played by GG, the stand-in on the side of World Elite. Tide hanging towards mid right now. We could see a farming Tide. We'll see if that's what they plan to do. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting match, man, if nothing else. You and I were kind of talking before about, this is the kind of best of 3. Hang on. Crystal Main's going to be caught out. She's making a run for the Illusion Rune, taking a lot of damage on the way. Naga Siren making her way down the river. Going to be there to back her up and make sure she stays safe here early on. Shaker's there as well, but Finesse Meister going to be able to make it back home quite safely.
I'm really concerned about this Sniper pick. I mean, if you think about it, they are in a really good position because they have the Chen out here, and they're going to have Sniper and the Venomancer laning together, which makes the Sniper kind of safe. But,
yeah.
I mean, we're talking Earthshaker, Crystal Maiden, and a Naga Siren as well. That's a lot of burst damage, not to mention very, very high tower dive potential. Chen is okay in the early game, but I don't really think he can stop that kind of momentum unless he gets a decent creep. Like, he needs a net or a Centaur to really be able to stop that much aggression, and that's kind of where Sniper becomes a liability to an extent. So hopefully Zenith can lane this properly and not get themselves in a position where Loda, by the way, who's playing Sniper, he didn't change his name, but
yeah,
that is who's playing at this game. He needs as much farm as he possibly can get. I mean, you can't really say it anywhere else, and I don't know why against the Lycan, especially of all heroes, that you would want to pick this hero. I hope that it works out because I want to learn something new. I love to learn new things about Dota, but I don't know about that pick, man.
It's a risky pick, and as I was saying, this is the kind of best of 3 that you and I kind of both agreed has the potential to get out of hand. Make no mistake, World Elite comes in here the underdogs, and they're going to have a solid early game. And really, that's really what makes it surprising, I think. Zenith is a team that has executed at such a high level for so long and against such great competition that taking a risk here in the round of 8, I mean, yeah, it's great to try something different, but game number 1 usually is going to be your stability game. You want to look to get 1 win under your belt, and maybe game number 2, if you get a win, is where you want to try and do something a bit different. Naga Siren taking some harassment, and yeah, more than enough to force Venomancer back there, but just pecking away. Loda on Sniper, doing what he can.
I don't know, like, I don't really want to talk about anything else. It's just like, man, Naga Siren and Lycan, and you pick Sniper?
Yep.
I mean, they have 2 heroes. Even if he gets a BKB, he can get ensnared, and the Lycan can just basically tunnel vision him in a team fight. There's not going to be any problem whatsoever for him to do that. So I don't know, man. Like, it really is all basically down to what the Sniper can do. I mean, I hate to put so much weight on him, but when you pick a hero that's this late game oriented and you're basically going all in by defensively tri-laning and giving him all the farm, which is obviously what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
It's just that his game influence is going to be pretty much the deciding factor of the game, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's one of those situations where Sniper, as little as we get to see him, going to get stared now, and we're going to have the follow-up fissure, not going to get the stun. Makes him retreat. a bit further back, but a missed fissure there coming out of Luo. Very rarely do we see Luo miss fissures or mini spells at all. Fantastic player on the side of World Elite. But I agree with you completely. As dependent on items as Sniper is, I mean, he's going to get his farm. It's a defensive tri-lane, just so long as Zenith really doesn't make too many mistakes and allow we to get ahead as they try to counter tri-lane. Hang on. Crystal Maiden going to take a Venomous Gale, trying to make her run back. She's down to half health. In comes the Sunstrike. It is going to connect. And that's our first blood. Put it in the books. Finesse Meister going to die for his trouble. But the advantage goes to Zenith.
That's the start they want, man.
Yep.
They can keep the heroes off the Sniper as long as possible. That is an optimal situation.
Yep.
And top lane, the problem here is that the Sand King is losing very, very badly to the Lycan. I mean, it's 15-5. And XY's only got 5 CS right now. I mean, that's really not a situation he wants to be in.
This isn't what Zenith needs to have happen. Shen gonna drop. As we see Naga Siren picking up a kill, that's gonna be 1-0-1 for her, 7 last hits, so very busy lane on bottom lane. Sniper continues to farm, but he's only, well, actually he's only got 9 last hits, so Lycan by far the leader at this current moment, as he damn well should be against Sand King in a long lane. But, you know, if we can finish our thought, I believe both of us are driving at the same thing, is that more or less Sniper's going to need so much farm to really be a force in this game, and you've got 2 unbelievably fast split pushers in Lycan and Naga Siren on the other side. Is he going to have time to get the farm he needs? Lycan going to get Burrow Strike. In comes the Sand, or the Sunstrike, and Sand King with the Burrow Strike leading it off. That's going to put a kill in the books, and again, that's just what we had talked about as well. I mean, Venomous Gale works with that, that coordination combo that we see so often coming out of a mid-invoker.
Yeah, and I really like the fact, too, that World Elite decided to put the Lycan top. I mean, assuming the Sand King was there, really all he can do to fight Lycan is basically just hop in his Sandstorm. He can't ever really hope to trade right clicks. Lycan just does way too much damage. His wolves are too tough to deal with, especially because he's going Feral Impulse as well. Secondary, not going to get Howl or anything like that. So just in general, really cool stuff coming out from World Elite. I like the Naga pickup here, too. It makes a ton of sense. I mean, the hero's just really strong all around, and we could potentially see action bottom.
Yeah. World Elite feeling very confident, playing very far into the Radiant side jungle. Shin was out of lane for a bit, has a haste rune now. Just popped it out of his bottle. We'll see if he's going to do anything with it. And no, World Elite is just going to go ahead and pull back, so yeah, it's going to be unloaded, man. I mean, he started out with a Wraith Mask, all well and good. And, I don't know. You can only theory craft so much. I mean, maybe they've got something in mind that we haven't seen before. Maybe this is something they intentionally did just to throw him for a loop, to try it out in preparation for the International 2 coming up, where they will be a member. And they're in snare on Sniper. He's in some trouble. Venomous Gale there, but now Sniper's all the way down to half health. Sunstrike will land. That's going to take down Siren, but they are going to pick off Sniper at the same time. Now trying to retreat. Crystal Maiden in some trouble. Down to just a few hundred hit points, if that. Going to drop in the jungle just to the north of the side shop. 4-3. The kill lead favoring Zenith.
That was a nice trade, obviously, carry for carry, and they picked up an extra support too, so that's going to be a benefit to them. It slows down Lotus Farm a bit, though, which really, really hurts him. I mean, he is low level, he's on level 5, so it's not like he's dead for a very, very long time, and actually we're going to see Venomancer drop here too.
Naga Siren with another ensnare, going to get a free kill. Earthshaker looks like he's going to drop, and he will. Test of Faith. Enough to bring him down. Sunstrike is not going to land. Sniper hits 6 at the right time, though, but oh wow, beautiful ulti from our Naga Siren. Removes the snipe and doesn't allow the kill to happen. Beautiful play there coming out from FNTY.
Image is an ulti, but yeah, it was definitely...
Yeah, not ulti, the, yeah, I misspoke. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I got to admit, man, I don't have a lot of experience with Naga Siren. I need to learn her spells by name a little bit better. I know Ensnare, I know that one, I know Riptide. But Mirror Image, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, no problem. I was going to say something, too, and I just totally lost my train of thought because that whole thing right there. Oh, I remember, I think. I mean, I think the Sniper is going to have to go a survivability-oriented build in WoW. Okay, so Sand King gets a solo kill top lane on the Lycan, definitely uses ultimate for that.
Yep.
And Lycan does have his ultimate and popped it and still died. I think he might have popped that prematurely, actually, and tried to fight. I didn't actually catch what happened.
Crystal Maiden wanders into the wrong part of the jungle. Just gets absolutely mauled. And Loda able to get the kill. That's obviously who they want that kill on. But yeah, Crystal Maiden just stuck her nose in the wrong part of town and paid the price. We do have a Tidehunter with an Invis rune, so World Elite might look to put one back on the board. 7-4 the current lead. favoring Zenith as we see the tornado making its way to do a little harassment courtesy of Chen. And Tide's got his Ravage up. Invis Rune at about a quarter time left. Looks like he is just going to go ahead and ban and head back to mid. But it's an interesting game so far. 3 kills on Chen for Zenith, and they've already got 1 on Sniper as well. Ice has died 3 times in mid. Or, excuse me, has 3 assists. Jeez, I can't even read the day. But has 3 assists, so he's doing okay. But, yeah, I think Zenith's doing pretty well here. World Elite is trading blows with him, but Zenith is coming out ahead.
Well, a lot of it's due to the fact that they have a Chen. I mean, when you're defensively jungling a Chen, that hero is one of the strongest early game heroes in the game, just because of the fact that the creeps that you get are so much stronger than the respective heroes, especially when you're going up into tri-lane. I mean, they're going to be so underleveled in comparison to how strong those Chen creeps are, due to like what time it is in the game. I mean, he's already level 6, only 8 minutes in. The Naga Siren's level 6, that's good for her, but the supports are level 4 and 5, so when you walk into a lane with like a net creep and such, and you already have Assassinate up on your Sniper, that's a tremendous amount of burst damage coming out this early into the game, plus it's only on a 20-second cooldown. I mean, now that he's 6, it's going to be really tough.
Naga Siren locked down, takes a lot of damage, but now blows the ulti, buys yourself some time, and that's what you talked about earlier, Draskell, during the pick ban phase. Just the ability, once she hits 6, to get herself out of trouble at any point. Does a really good job there, was really kind of dead to rights, but manages to make it back to safety. In the meantime, we're beginning to see World Elite stretch their legs a little bit. Lycan, a little angry about his death under his own tower, now going to start banging on the tower here. Invoker making his way over. As we see Zenith decide it's time for them to press a tower as well. Sand King has moved down the bottom. They're going to try and push 2 deep almost certainly. Let's see what Invoker can do to Lycan. Lycan taking a bit of damage, going to let the Wolves chase Invoker back. Continue to put pressure on there. Zenith now with about half health gone off this bottom tower. We'll see if they really want to fight here. And at this point, I think they do. They should anyway. And look at this. Earthshaker trapped in. There's a fissure. Buying him some time. Doesn't matter. He dies very quickly. There's the Ravage. It's going to go off as well. Only going to catch 1, however. Sand King trying to get out. Trapped himself. He's going to drop. There's the ensnare. And actually, he's going to burrow strike out. If he... Oh, wow. He's actually going to make it back to safety. The tower is going to drop, so... but yeah, burrow struck in to catch the Shaker that was caught there with the Chen creep.
Lycan's going to get Invoker.
And, 4 staff. Well, it's always a good item. See if it's enough. Nope. He is going to grab him. So, Lycan doing what he can, but weird engagement there on bottom. Fun to watch, though.
Yeah, I thought XY was definitely dead there. I mean, he was caught out basically in the side, completely trapped, had enough mana actually between bottling to go ahead and burrow strike out. He had 8 wand charges too, so it gives you quite a bit of HP, and he was able to get away, so props to them. And I was going to say too that if Zenith didn't make that worth it, and actually we might see another solo killer from Sand King.
Yep.
Oh man,
there's the epi. Crystal Maid, man, needs to learn. There are parts of town you don't go into. There's the Fisher from Luo, though, going to lock Sand King back, and tied there with the Gush. Can they kill him? No! The anchor smash is off!
Oh my god.
Oh, finally they get him. Jeez!
Well, Sand King pretty tanky at this stage in the game, especially considering he went for treads and not mana boots, so he's going to be even tankier than normal. And I think that's a pretty decent option here. When you're playing against heroes with really good ground stuns, like Tidehunter obviously has the Ravage, and you have Earthshaker who can knock you out with basically any of his spells. I mean, it's definitely understandable to go for more of a tanky build so you don't get punished for it. And honestly, the treads have already paid for themselves. He would have been dead if he had mana boots on the side there at the first tier tower bottom. So.
Oh, for sure. Sniper has gone Midas first, by the way. Now he's going to go in the no man's land. He is going to land the Fissure. Naga Siren is there with the ensnare to follow it up. Chen blows the heal. Earthshaker's going to drop, so very failed dive on bottom. Invoker was there with the Sunstrike to bail his buddy out. Man, Chen's just going to go ahead and give Loda a free ride on the Chen taxi service, sending him back to base. Invoker's now pretty much just set up shop in top. Mid looks like it's going to be occupied by Sand Kings, so Zenith doing a real good job, moving their lanes around, rotating things around, making sure who needs focus is getting it. The choice of Midas, though, when you see the Midas as World Elite, I think that tells you, okay, we need to get a lot done in the next 10 to 15 minutes. You know, obviously, I mean, you can't have Sniper getting a ton of items off the bonus gold he's going to get from Midas once it pays for itself. But, I mean, it's a risky play out of Zenith. There's so much push still on the side of World Elite, but it looks like they feel pretty confident they can hold.
Yeah, I mean, the start has actually gone a lot better for them than I thought it would. Lotus sitting at 2-1-4. His CS isn't the greatest. He's only sitting at about 34, but they already got the tower bottom lane, and he's sitting on a Midas as well as Tread, so
Yep.
his farm is going to spiral out of control very, very quickly. Lycan really needs to try to be active in the next couple of minutes of the game, and it looks like they might be trying to go for an Invoker kill on the top line, or at the very least push the tower, and this is the right call. Like, they can't let the game just go on forever, because a very, very late-game sniper with the proper item build can carry pretty darn hard.
Oh yeah, and one of the thing is, even with Sniper, he doesn't need a full inventory to really be effective. Again, the last time you and I casted him, we saw just a Divine Rapier Rush, and it was really, really effective. If they can get that up and running quickly or something equivalent, it's just going to give them like a Desolator. One Desolator can completely change the way a Sniper affects a game, both in the way he's able to reduce armor and just the pure damage output he'll have, plus the bonus attack speed from the Hand of Midas. So Zenith is reacting now to top, sending in the troops. On bottom side, looks like we're going to have Sand King's doing a great job getting kills and avoiding deaths everywhere we look. He's left alone on bottom right now. Looks like we're going to have an engagement at top, as Zenith is posturing as if they want to push this top tower already very low. Yeah, and World Elite is just going to go ahead and pull back. Going to give him a fissure just for coming out. But the tower is going to drop, so Zenith is actually playing this really, really well. And the choice of Vladimir's first on Lycan, I think, might be a mistake. I think I would have much preferred a Necro Book come out first.
Yeah, Necro Book to kind of punish the split push potential. At the same time, though, they have to kind of be able to 5v5. They have a Tide still and a Naga Siren. They should be able to line up their ultimates pretty much perfectly every time. I did want to hit on the fact about the whole Divine Rapier thing on Sniper. Dare only did that because they picked Omni Knight. That's the only reason they were able to get away with that strategy, because they could just have permanent repel, and actually the Sniper that game rushed the Lincoln, so they couldn't even purge it off. So that's why we saw it. It was kind of like I guess you could say a cheese, if there was ever a cheese in Dota. That was kind of what they were going for.
Right.
And it worked really well, but I don't think that Lotus is going to have the luxury of making something like this game, as he's currently getting dove tier 2 mid as well.
Yep, Lycan was in the right place at the right time. Now they're going to take a snipe in the face. Chin is there, giving chase. Looks like Icy's going to make it back home, and he will. But 2 towers are dead at top. Zenith pouring it on, and really, in a game like this where it's really on World Elite, to be pushing towers, taking map control, abusing lane presence, Zenith is just kind of taking the fight to him, and it's paying off in spades.
Yeah, I really don't know what World Elite... I mean, they have such a better lineup, in my opinion, especially for the early to mid game. I mean, you have a Naga, you have a Tide, you can walk in, sleep, and line up your Ravage pretty much perfectly. There's no real reason why you should ever mess that up. And yeah, they're playing against a Chen without a jungler, so the creeps are actually very, very strong in this particular game. Like, we saw it in laning phase 2. The Chen is the only reason why that trailing was successful. I mean, he was able to chase them away from the sniper, let Loda get his farm, and even actually get a couple of kills. I think at one point he was 3-1, but... I mean, at this point, I really do feel like World Elite kind of has to push the issue.
They're chasing Sniper down. We're going to have an ensnare that's going to catch Chen. Sunstrike going to be off the mark. Tide looks like he's going to drop. There's the ulti pop from Lycan. Force Staff going to get Invoker out of trouble, at least for the moment. Chen's still in a lot of trouble. He's going to die. 2 down on the side of Zenith to the 1 down on the side of World Elite. Now they're going to catch Finesse Meister as well. XY doing what he can to stay alive. Fissure off the mark. And yeah, XY just playing very boldly. Yeah, going to get a Burrow Strike kill, it looks like, and he will. Invoker's rejoined the fray. Down comes the Sunstrike. Is going to connect. Doesn't matter. He's just taking too much damage too quickly. Forced to use the Force Staff to get himself out of trouble. And Snare's going to catch Sand King. Sand King is going to be left to his own devices, apparently. Just ensnare him and give him some stern looks and run away. Sand King has picked up his Blink Dagger, so he is going to be using that Epi much more efficiently now. 15-10, the current kill score, favoring Zenith. And I'm not going to lie, I'm trying to find the typical gold graph using the new commands. Have not learned the new commands. Hopefully get that under control. But if you can take a look at the gold graph for Straskel, if you can figure it out and give us the lowdown.
Yeah, no problem. The gold is about 5,000 right now in favor of Zenith, actually getting closer to 7,500, and the experience is about 3k, so not really insurmountable leads as Sand King gets another solo kill with his Epi, this time on Naga Siren. So XY doing an amazing job being all over the map so far, and he didn't even have his Blink Dagger on him for that. He is just managing to walk up and stun and ult and get kills over and over and over again, and I mean, you can't let a Sand King just do that, you know? I mean, his start wasn't even that great. He was actually getting pretty handled in the lane by the Lycan in the early phases of World Elite. So I think things have kind of turned around a bit. World Elite's trying to do a Roche attempt here. This is what they need to do, get something going for them, because right now I mean, the Sniper Trial Lane won, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever said that about another match ever.
Just one of those phrases, man. Sniper Tri-Lane 1. Very rarely do you get to hear that. Sunstrike is going to come down, is going to connect. Earthshaker in trouble once again. And now we're going to have a battle coming out. We got a buyback in progress. Chen about to drop. He does drop, gets the heal off just in time. Ravage manages to catch just the one. Finesse Meister is going to drop as well. Making a run for the high ground. Crystal Maiden going to die in the Roche pit. So World Elite, again, goes 2 for 1. They're keeping the kill score relatively close, 18-21. But this is definitely a game in which Zenith is in the lead. There's another free Earthshaker kill. He is going to blink to the high ground and bottle up. And, yeah.
Oh, is he going to get Lycan too? Oh my god.
Sunstrike's coming in. He does manage to be at least a part of picking off Lycan now, ensnared though. Anchor smash. Is he going to walk between the raindrops again? Anchor smash is there, and he's going to burrow strike, makes it to the low ground, blinks up to the high ground. They can't kill him. Just can't kill him.
Oh, he got Naga ulted. He could be in trouble here. I think he's dead.
As soon as I get excited. Oh, well. Either way, they kill him, but they have trouble killing him. Okay, fine. They can kill him, but they have a lot of trouble.
XY is playing phenomenal this game. Yeah. I mean, everything that he's done that I've watched him in his solo kills looks like Invoker might be able to get a kill on Tide here. But, yeah, he's been doing a great job.
4 staff ahead, gonna trade. Yeah, he is gonna get the Aegis off of him. And, wow, he's gonna be able to QQ walk and get himself to safety, it seems. Yep, he is gonna survive again. A lot of really... Oh, no. Wow.
Nice awareness by Lua right there.
Yep, very solid. So Lua does get the kill on the Invoker. Just as I was getting ready to say, a lot of heroes walking between the raindrops, avoiding deaths at every turn, but not so much. Fissure put an end to that.
I think right now, I mean, World Elite obviously in a very dominant position. The Sniper's up to about 3,100 gold. Not sure what he's going to go for. I mean, the thing with Sniper is he's very fragile at almost all stages of the game until, I don't know, like 60 minutes in when you have a full inventory. And you don't feel like quite as fragile, but... I mean, even against the Tide, against the Lycan, somehow he is defying these odds, and really he has to be thanking his team for this, because the Sand King, especially being played by XY, like, I'm just going to say MVP for his team just because of how much he's already done. Even if he went, like, AFK in the base for the rest of the game, I would still call him the MVP.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how well he's been playing.
Absolutely. 74 last hits, 10 kills, 3 deaths in a solo lane against the Lycan to start. I mean, just phenomenal play coming out, and speaking of, here's another burrow strike, causing Naga Siren to pull back. And he's really he's taken control of this game for Zenith. And that's what they needed. I mean, you've got one of the better players on the planet in Loda, who's playing on a very unconventional hero who's going to have to be more late game oriented. He did go for a Shadow Blade, by the way, so not sure if we're casting Monthly Madness Asia or if we happen to be watching a pub game. Either way, the guy playing Sniper, pretty solid player last I heard. But that said, he is going to have to try and focus more on the late game, so they needed someone to step up and really set the pace in the mid-game and the later parts of the early game. And XY has just done an amazing, amazing job. Here's going to be a Sunstrike, going to land, give a scared Earthshaker, but no engagement to follow it up. But yeah, Zenith is looking real good, man. I mean, like, scary good.
I definitely agree. I don't know if World Elite can really do anything to stop this kind of momentum they've got going. I mean, the kill score definitely looks even, but 7,500 gold lead now for Zenith, getting closer to 4K experience, and they're going to be looking to push this tier 2 tower bottom lane. And again, it's like, I don't know if they can really stop this. And Naga is going for a very tanky build, which means that her late game potential is going to be hindered a slight bit. And the Lycan right now only has a Vlad, so they're actually double Vlading right now. That is a huge mistake, as XY actually drops there to the Shaker as well. So I just don't know about that. I mean, World Elite is seeming to have some communication issues. You don't ever need 2 Vlads, ever.
Right.
There's just no reason for it, especially considering the hero who should always get it in this case is going to be Lycan, because he needs it to either do Roche or basically just a sustain and sideline push, where Naga can still kind of team fight.
Right.
The Lycan isn't really going to be doing that as much unless he wants to go for a BKB. So I really think that World Elite's kind of had some issues this game.
Chen blows the heel. Invoker standing a little too high on the steps. Finesse Meister was there. And looks like Zenith wants to go ahead and start pushing into the tier 3. Fissure is going to connect. Going to lock Invoker in place, at least for the moment. Wii seems to be in position to engage. Crystal Maiden back on her feet after a death in mid. And she's there. Gonna frostbite the Chen creep. In comes the epicenter, though. It's gonna catch 2. That's gonna be 1 death for sure. Gonna be 2 as soon as the snipe hits, and it does. Lycan assassinated behind enemy lines, or behind his own lines, I should say. Naga Siren doing what she can, but isn't enough. Finesse Meister is going to drop, but he did get the ulti off. Burrow Strike again. XY just taking control of this fight. Catching multiple heroes with every single Burrow Strike, and Wee's on the run, man. They're back in their own base near the Ancient and can't even fight to save their racks. They do pop the glyph. But yeah, Zenith, if they were in control before, now they've just 100% broken this game wide open. Melee Rax is going to drop for sure. There's going to be a Deafening Blast. Burrow Strike on Tide. Tide, oh wow, bailed out by the Naga Siren again. And Tide doesn't have a Ravage up. Mech's up in 2 seconds. So World Elite manages to buy some time. And Loda is going to be locked in place. In comes the rock. That's going to land. That's going to chase Tide all the way back to the Ancient. Luo doing what he can. XY finally looks like he's going to be forced out. Chim blows the mechs. Another good fissure. Going to connect. But now Earthshaker might be in some trouble. And Snare on XY keeps him in place. Shaker is going to drop. Chin using the Chin taxi service. Either way, Melee Rax is down. Ranged Rax very soon to be down. 25-16 now that the dust has settled a little bit. Ice still running away from Naga Siren. So World Elite does manage to at least... Oh, wow. Good Frost Nova from the low ground. Riptide as well. Doesn't matter. Invoker's going to be able to keep himself safe. Very good usage of the Ghost Walk. But, yeah, I mean... This is not supposed to happen. At 23 minutes with the sniper pick, Zenith is not supposed to be able to do this, but they just kind of are.
Well, the early game was just not very favorable for World Elite. You would think with a Naga, CM, Earthshaker, Trailing, they would be able to make something happen, but they just didn't really make anything happen at all. I mean, in worst case scenario, you can leave the Naga in lane. Yeah, she's not going to farm that much, but you can send your Shaker and your CM to go harass in the jungle. CM's Frostbite lasts for a ridiculous amount of time on creeps, so with that being said, you can pretty much just shut down his jungle if you really want to. At the very least, make the sniper feel scared. I mean, World Elite just ran a tri-lane, and the sniper didn't even feel it. I mean, he's died twice, but basically it's all been from team fights, so he doesn't really have to worry about anything else. I mean, I think he died once in lane, and they needed to accomplish more than that, just simply put.
Yeah, and Lycan has picked up a Necro book, by the way, and again, just to reinforce, I think that's a big part of their mistake, going Vlad's first. I mean, Vlad's a great item on Lycan, make no mistake, but they didn't need a Vlad's Lycan. They needed a split push Lycan. They needed a Lycan who could just completely take control of top lane. And anytime Zenith did what they just did, he could dip out and go single or duo push a lane. And they just have not had it at all. They have basically been on the defensive more or less since Sand King got his first kill. Since Sand King picked off Lycan under his own tower, from that moment on, World Elite has been playing defensively, and Zenith has been setting the pace in almost every conceivable way. Looks like they want to change that. They're smoked up, moving through the jungle, trying to find a kill. They may find it on XY if he dips south, and he will. No, they're actually going to stay on the high ground. Never mind. Lycan, near the river, not going to catch him. Closest target is our Veno. Will they catch him? He's trying to do some jungling. Oh, he's in some trouble. Here we go. They're going to run up on him. Tide going to be the first to spawn him. Going to land the Gush. Finesse trying to make a run for it. He is just going to blow all of his abilities, knows it's a very easy kill. So, World Elite doing what they can. Oh, wow. Sunstrike is going to land. And the Veno... Oh, Mex is going to bail her out, though. I was going to say the Veno ulti might just kill her, but... Not the case, but World Elite again. I mean, they're doing what they can, but okay, they got a kill. That doesn't change anything so far as Zenith having complete and utter map control.
Well, we've seen this situation a lot. When a team gets really far behind, and in this case Zenith is just positioning very aggressively, they're always on the opposite side of the river, and XY actually just blinks into the base like a man and just clicks on the racks and just pinches it down with his claws, so... Definitely a very, very manly Sand King. Got his BKB up too, so he's not really going to die ever, I don't think. In terms of like the Vlad thing, like the double stacking, the Lycan should always be the one to get the Vlads, like just flat out, because he can just go into the jungle and tear it up extremely fast and not have to worry about like losing any HP. He'll be available for fights in that situation. He did go for Necronomicon straight after his core items, so that's a good
Loda's going to be
Could
caught
see a decent engagement here.
Yep, Loda going to be caught as his Shin. There's the Ravage, as you pointed out, so easy to set it up. Loda is going to drop. Now but look at the epicenter. Gonna catch 3 with the Burrow Strike. Down comes the rock to finish the job. Buybacks aplenty coming out. World Elite with a good engagement. Doesn't matter. XY just too strong. Trying to give chase. Good Echo Slam though. Does some damage. We are gonna see him drop. BKB did wear off. Now Ice in some trouble. But yeah, World Elite actually came out okay despite having to spend a buyback to get the job done. came out all right. They do manage to hold the lane, at least for the moment. Loda did drop, and now escorted by Finesse Meister. He did opt for a Hyperstone, by the way, so he's actually building attack speed instead of damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay because of the fact that you have Headshot. Headshot's 40% chance for 60 more damage, so attack speed's a decent build. He's already getting Mites on top of that, so there are some kind of like diminishing returns. But in general, I still think Zenith is just so far ahead. I mean, up until that team fight, they were about 14,000 gold ahead, and about 7,500 experience, so they are just way, way, way ahead. The one thing that I'm really scratching my head about is, like, why did it take so long for World Elite to do what they just did mid? Like, why did it take them so long to do that? It is insanely easy to run that combination, and Naga's actually opting to go straight for a heart, so they're really going for the more tank-oriented, just try to get in and get your ultimate off no matter what build, which is definitely the right call, I think, in this situation. And they're also going to get Roche, which is a good thing, so Lycan's going to have an Aegis for the next team fight, and I believe a Necronomicon 2, if not 3, if he's able to farm up a couple hundred extra gold before then. But yeah, I think the World Elite is actually still in this just by virtue of their team being so strong. I mean, you have heroes like Venomancer, you have heroes... I mean, like Chen, who don't scale necessarily that great, even though the Chen had a phenomenal start. They're just not great late to mid-game heroes. You know, it's going to be hard, I think, still for Zenith to push into the second set of racks.
Yeah, I think as we move into the middle stages of the mid-game here and on towards the late game, a lot more emphasis is going to have to be put on Invoker. He did build straight-up X-Sword. He's maxed that out now, allowing Quas and Wex to catch up. But I think they're going to have to get a lot more out of him. They're going to have to get much better tornadoes. They're basically just going to have to use everything in his repertoire to try and counteract the massive team fight potential they have between the Fissure, the Ravage, and of course the ult from Siren. If they can do that, I think Zenith's going to be in fine shape. But yeah, they had a great start, but just the inherent weakness in their lineup is showing up now in comparison to World Elite. We saw it there, and I'm with you. That's kind of what World Elite needed to be doing early. Looks like they're going to have another chance. We'll see if they're up to it. Ice Wall's going to go down, trying to lock out World Elite. Off goes the pipe. Siren does get the ulti off. However, Sand King and Chen are both outside of it. Tide moving his way in. He is going to be in position to Ravage. Pipe was still active. Vino gets the ult off. Not a lot of damage done. Zenith in good fighting shape. They're focus firing Loda. They are going to bring him down. There's a deafening blast to catch his 4, but it simply doesn't matter. Vino and Sniper both dropped very, very quickly. And World Elite playing very well now, really showing the strength of their picks. Ice going to be caught out here, and he is going to be Echo Slam. They want the death, they're going to get it. Ravage going to be enough to lock it down. 27-24, World Elite has immensely closed the gap, and there's just an absolute whiff on an Epicenter. All he can do is blink away. So yeah, Zenith's as good as they looked. Now, I won't say the wheels are coming off the wagon. They've still got 2 racks down in bottom lane. But again, they kind of picked themselves into a corner when it comes to this. This is what they had to expect moving into this stage of the game.
I was actually really shocked that they got the racks as easily as they did, bottom lane, because you're pushing into a Tide, Naga, Siren, Earthshaker, like, really? Like, they got the racks at 22 minutes or so, I think, maybe even 21 with a lineup with a freaking Sniper. Like, I don't even... This game is blowing my mind, that's all I'm going to say. The Naga does pick up her heart, so that's going to help. She's still 8-4 and 8. Got 132 CS right now, so that's not too terrible, honestly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so difficult to crack a base against a team like this. Like, World Elite picked a very, very, I wouldn't say defensive lineup, but a lineup that's flexible and that they can push whenever they want because they have heroes like Lycan, and they can fight whenever they want because they have Naga, Siren, and Tide. So I'm really surprised that it's kind of gotten this out of hand. I mean, the kill score is dead even, but still, I mean, experience has actually swung pretty much down to dead even now for World Elite, but the gold's still 12,000 in favor of Zenith at this point.
Zenith wants to continue to be aggressive. I honestly think they ought to start playing a little bit more defensive. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Loda, by the way, is going to be opting for Mjolnir. He's got the Maelstrom out on the way out to him now. He's already got the Hyperstone. But, I mean, you've got the Mjolnir on the way. Get a Deso up. All of a sudden, Sniper's going to be hitting a lot harder. And really, it's been pretty solid farm out of our Sniper. He's sitting on 167 last hits. Not mind-blowing good, but still pretty damn good. And Zenith continues to pour it on, though. And I'm worried they're going to do this one too many times and lose all their momentum. World Elite has just looked so damn good in the last couple of fights. We're going to see the shield go up on XY, courtesy of the Mjolnir. Let's see how they want to fight it here. Tide's Ravage is back up in 5. Just doing damage from afar. Fissure buys a little bit of time on the side of World Elite. Zenith looks like they may scatter. They're playing a lot more cautiously this time, a lot less cavalier, and how quickly they rush up the steps towards the tier 3. Let's see how much they want to commit. Out comes Naga. She's going to blow the ulti. She's going to catch 3. Loda's one of those 3. So is Invoker, so is Finesse Meister. Here we go, Ravage follow-up. There's the ulti out of Venomancer. Chen tries to keep him alive. It doesn't matter. Sniper's just dying so quickly, but this time, the epicenter is going to connect. It's going to do a lot of damage, make it 2-3 kills for XY, who has just taken control of the game for the most part. Finally gets himself into the fight. Last time around he whiffed. That time he most certainly did not. Only Lycan and Crystal Maiden were standing, but we got buybacks. There's a Gush trying to force him back. Aegis is going to be popped. We're going to see him bounce back up. There we go. Lycan back in the fight. Chen making a run for it. Fissure going to catch him, just barely hits him in the heel. Force Staff trying to get him to safety. Invoker manages to deny a tower while all this is, or destroy the tower while all this is going on. And now Veno's there. There's an Echo Slam. XY just so damn tanky. Let's see. Yeah, there's another Fissure. Shaker trying to get away. Sunstrike going to be off the mark. Way over aggressive there for Zenith. That was just basically taking a chance, just hunting kills there, and they paid the price.
Well, I like, what is this? I don't even. That's all I want to say. Like, the fact that World Elite is defending their base over and over again. Granted, they're having to use buybacks, but Zenith is buying back too. So, I mean, this just shows their lineup is very, very good. I'm again just kind of like, well, if you didn't lose the early game quite as badly as you did, then you'd be in a much better spot. And the fact that the Sniper actually went for a Mjolnir instead of opting for something like a BKB makes him extremely susceptible to death. I mean, we just saw it right there. What could he do? He got slept by the Naga, and apparently your screen turned black on the stream. I know it's delayed, but I just saw it, so I want to make sure that everything's okay on your end really fast.
Yep, I just reset. Hopefully, on XSplit it looked fine to me. So, not sure.
Okay.
Hopefully, I hope it was an issue that was not related to us. But, yeah, it's a nuts game, man. I'm with you. It's like, it seems like Sniper is playing a little too aggressive. Loda just a little bit too far towards the front of the fight when the fight breaks out. Has to play a lot more defensively, has to keep himself back and keep himself alive a lot more of the time. Sand King is going to be caught out in mid here. He blows the BKB, but it simply doesn't matter. He just caught out by more or less the entire World Elite team. And this is what we expected to see earlier. Better late than never. As World Elite begins charging down mid, they finish off the Tier 1 in mid, going to move their way to Tier 2. Now, the cat barks at the dog, and Zenith in the position to defend. They're going to be lacking their Sand King for another 60 seconds, though. And yeah, Molly alerting us. Hopefully all is well.
Yeah, this is the problem when you delay stuff, too. Is like, if we were real time, we would be able to fix that right away. But because it's delayed,
yeah. Anyway, World Elite manages to get the Tier 2. Siren blows the ulti. She's going to catch 2. That's going to be Veno and Chen. Tide waddles his way in and does manage to catch both despite the Force Staff. That's a super dead Chen and a super dead Veno. And Zenith is in some trouble. For the first time in the game, World Elite takes the kill lead. And they're just looking really, really hard to stop. Sand King still down. We're going to have a buyback coming out from Crystal Maiden. And now Invoker's going to be caught, going to be Echo Slammed, and is going to melt behind the racks here in mid. World Elite just pouring it on. They take down the tower. Let's see. They're going to get the melee racks for sure. Only Sniper still stands, and he's probably got about 100 hit points. Can't do much about this. And yeah, they're just going to move on. They're just going to go ahead and start banging on the Ancient Towers, forcing another buyback from Invoker. Range Barracks drops, and now finally XY back in the fight after being caught in mid. He's going to be locked down by Naga Siren. World Elite does not look like they want to fight. They don't want to abandon Tide. Fissure going to buy Tide the time he needs. Going to get him back to safety. So the worm has turned, my friend. World Elite definitely in charge right now. They obviously are still behind. They're still lacking 1 racks in comparison to their opponents, and those racks have been down for a long time, but just the potency of their lineup is showing itself, and Sniper can't keep up.
Yeah, I mean, it's item choice and the hero itself. They hinder, like, he just hinders his team, basically, as you have to commit so much to try to help him out in team fights. I mean, he went for Lothar's, which Yeah, that helps him to a certain extent, but you have to assume that a high-level team as World Elite's going to always buy sentries, does things like that. So that item essentially is just a waste of gold. I mean, yeah, it makes the other team buy sentries, so I guess it makes them spend a little bit of their own, but it's not enough to really warrant a pickup, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Overall, just really strange item choice here from Loda. I mean, a BKB probably wouldn't have just guaranteed save him in any team fight, but it would give him a much better chance than what he currently has. I think that would have been a better option than a Shadow Blade at this point, and then opt for something like damage, like an MKB or Manta, if you want to go that route.
Right. Crystal Maiden is going to be picked off, so Zenith, realizing they've lost a lot of their momentum, doesn't want to let the game slip away from them. Instead, they want to pour it on themselves. Looks like, yeah, they're going to push in mid lane. We'll see if they're going to go ahead and run towards top. I would imagine that's what they're going to do, and they are. Choosing that ostensibly to be where they continue to push. Necro 3 BKB is up on Icy, so Lycan really going to be having his presence felt in all future fights. And yeah, I mean, Loda's got a decently full inventory. Looks like he's going to be going for either a BKB or a Deso. We'll see what the next item he picks up with after that Mithril Hammer. But I
have to think it's going to be a BKB. Like, yeah. I have to think that.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, he's been a pretty much non-factor in most of these team fights. He's just focus fired down. And it's one thing to tunnel vision a hero like Sniper if that Sniper at least takes a little time to kill. He's just melted. Like, it's just been no big deal. They've just washed over top of him every single time he's caught by the Naga Siren.
Yeah, and I mean, this strategy is really hard to fight against, too, because, yeah, we're going to see it again right here. She's just going to walk up. Two heroes can't get away from this.
And there's the Ravage, once again right on time. BKB on Sand King, though. He is going to Burrow Strike and catch 3. Deafening Blast, Fissure from the backside. Pipe is popped on the side of Zenith. World Elite giving chase. Let's see who and if and where they can pick off. They are going to get Finesse Meister. So that's 2 down immediately. Invoker and Veno both down for about a minute each. Crystal Maiden is going to be picked off on the backside, though. But 33-34. Very close in kills. World Elite, who trailed by, I want to say they were down, how many? Like 12 kills at one point? Something like that?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And the funny thing is, like, it's not even as if World Elite is, like, getting back into the game in terms of gold leader experience. Their lineup just allows them to win team fights. Yeah. It's just like, you know what? I win. Yeah. Because I have Naga ult and I have Tide ult, and you can't do anything about it. So, yep. I mean, XY has been doing a pretty decent job of staying out of range for Eppies, but they have to stop this push. I mean, they're just going to try to throw it again.
Here we go. Let's see what they can do. Sniper's there. He did opt for BKB. He is going to blow it. Loda just trying to stand and fight, but yeah, even BKB, it just doesn't matter. He just dies immediately. And we may have GG here, unless XY can just pull off a miracle. He's been in control of this game for the longest time, but once the game slipped away from Zenith, it slipped in a big, big way. Ever since that initial teamfight loss. Here we go, though. Another Burrow Strike going to catch 3. They're trying to force him out. Ravage is down. Not much can be done by Tide except Anchor Smash. There's going to be an Echo Slam. XY has to run away. Naga Siren very low. Manages to get the net out on Ice. And World Elite is not going to be able to end it quite yet. But they basically just pushed and managed to survive for the most part. Except for their Tide. They managed to survive for the most part with almost none of their abilities available. So, I mean, Zenith, is a damn good team. I think you hate to put it this way, they took a chance and it just blew up in their face. That's what it feels like with the Sniper pick.
Well, I mean, you can see him die really fast and say that, but at the same time, the game's still not over. I mean, that Tide's dead for about a minute. It's going to take a while for them to get to the other side of the map, and I don't think that Loda's going to be up for this particular push. But this game is going to come down to who wins the next team fight. If they can get Megas, like if Zenith gets Mega Creeps, I think they're going to be okay. There's still 1 melee Rax left right now for World Elite. That's the top one. They managed to kill middle lane quite some time ago, so that's going to help them out. Even though they got counter pushed and Rax mid themselves, they don't have to worry about it quite as much. The range creep will push out the lane, but it's not going to be that crazy in comparison to just having like full Megas comparative to like normal creeps. But I mean, the Sniper pick, man, that's like I was saying it earlier, that hero is a liability. Like, he won't really carry you unless he has ridiculous items. And this is another thing, too, like Shadowblade and BKB, I mean, he needed a BKB. I'm not really going to rag on that choice, but it's not a quote-unquote carry item. It doesn't give you tremendous damage. It doesn't give you evasion, lifesteal, any of, like, the crazy late-game things that you need to play against other carries. Whereas this Naga Siren doesn't have to make a BKB. She just went straight hard. She has a Yasha and going for Diffusal as well, so she has more items to, I guess you could say, fight and not have to rely on just being able to sit, 10 million range away from everybody, which is never going to happen anyway because you're playing against a Naga and a Tide Hunter. So.
Yeah, it's I mean, Zenith looks so good, man, but it's just the pure power, the punching power of the lineup that was given to World Elite. Or, well, they picked in part and were given in part, I should say. It's a close game on paper, at the very least. 34-35, World Elite does lead in terms of kills. Racks are just about even. However, World Elite is down 1 in that department. It is a melee rack, so pretty big deal. And that's kind of, I think Zenith at this point has just got to be hoping they can get megas. The longer this game goes, the more built we see our Naga Siren get, the more built we see our Lycan get. I don't know that they're going to be able to hang much longer. They're going to have to get the job done. There's a good way to start. They're going to get the Hex off on FNTY, and Tide and our Naga are going to wander in. And there's going to be the Ravage. The Cold Snap took her out of the ulti. Lycan's there as well. And yeah.
I don't actually think she popped her ulti right there. Looked that was like just a wasted Ravage.
Oh, wow. My bad. Thought she was in the motion for it. But either way, the Ancient is under attack here. And yeah, this is just a weird game. A lot of back and forth now. A lot of semi-commitments, backs. Like you said, that was a kind of a wasted Ravage, surprising there. And looks like Zenith does want to go ahead and continue to push. They've met up here in mid, trying to push this down as quickly as they can. Only the ranged rack stands here in mid, and here we go. Oh, big Echo Slam! Oh, wow. Where'd Zenith go? Pipe popped, and we see Loda and Veno trying to make a run for it. Yeah, that was a pretty damn good Echo Slam coming out of Luo. Now another Burrow Strike, gonna keep it from getting back home. XY trying to get away, forced to pop the BKB. He's gonna be locked down, just gonna go ahead and pop the ulti while he can. Use it or lose it, doesn't matter. Just not enough damage done. Another buyback. And Sand King back up, anticipating. He's gonna have to defend. Finesse Meister and Loda have moved up the top lane in the meantime. The majority of World Elite. Oh, wow, they're going to get a free kill now on Shen. Just caught completely out of position. Ice going to have to stay safe as well. Scythe of Ice buying him a little time by hexing the Naga. But, yeah, it's hard to imagine World Elite, or excuse me, Zenith, being able to start to really get the job done at this point. I mean, there's another Naga ulti. Ravage is not up, but... Oh, wow, Tide might actually get picked off. We're seeing finally Sniper stretch his legs a little bit. Crystal Maiden most definitely going to be picked off. Tide is going to make it back home after the CM ulti. Bought him a little bit of time. 38-35. Both teams just kind of trading jabs at this point. Still waiting for the big knockout blow one way or the other. XY continues to play very aggressive. Tried to blink on top of Luo. Gets a fissure in the face for his trouble. I don't know, man.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm like happy and sad this game at the same time, because if Zenith win, then what I thought at the beginning of the game was completely wrong, and they were able to win their trial and enough with the Chen to solidify them a game. But if they lose, then I'm still sad, because we've gotten to cast a little before, and he's an awesome guy and stuff, and you know, you have favorites, you know, whatever, casters, biased casters, LOL, what have you, but
right.
I really think that everybody was favoring Zenith to win, and it's going to be really cool for World Elite if they manage to get a game 1. So, we'll see if they can manage to pull it out, but right now, I mean, Tide Ravage and Naga Siren are just so freaking hard to fight against.
Yep, I still don't know they're getting as much as they could out of Ice. He's playing well, don't get me wrong, but, you know, he's also dying pretty quickly, too. They are giving him a lot of attention, so you can't lay it completely on him. This is one of those games, it's fun to cast, but it's fun to cast, but frustrating to cast at the same time. And so far as bias casters, favorites, what have you, I don't care, man. When I first started casting Dota, I was just a noob on the scene. Loda was the first pro to cast with me, so I got a soft spot in my heart for that guy. He helped me out a lot when we were just getting started, so I do love me some Loda. Love some World Elite, too, though. Damn good team. Again, and they've been looking for a win like this. If they're able to win this game, or win the best of 3, if they're able to pull that off as well. You know, again, a lot of questions surround this squad. They're a legendary squad in Dota 1, still competing in Dota 1. In fact, they played a Dota 1 game prior to this game today. And the questions are, how much time are they giving to Dota 2? Can they really live up to their name and reputation in Dota 2 yet? Eventually, you will see a full shift, I'm sure. But in the meantime, just how well do they match up with the best of the best. And Zenith is certainly among the best of the best. And World Elite has been looking for this kind of win, has been looking for a chance to say, hey, you know what? We're not done playing Dota 1 yet. Doesn't mean we're not damn good at Dota 2.
Yeah, and as the games kind of get closer together in terms of what heroes are available in the pool, I think we're going to be seeing more teams actually try to play both. I mean, there are differences. You can't really say that there won't be, and Ice needs to be careful here to not get picked off. He's going to drop the Ice Wall, but I don't think it's going to matter. He might actually just die.
Yep, he is going to be picked off. Naga Siren blows the ulti. And Snare traps him in place. Deafening Blast buys a little bit of time. That is going to get him home. So very good reaction. In the meantime, backdoor from XY and Loda. They're going to pop the pipe. Sand King just hangs, pops the BKB. There's the Ravage. And we are going to have an engagement. Burrow Strike going to catch two. Naga Siren's there. Oh, wow. Beautiful way to avoid the ensnare. Out of XY goes into the Sandstorm momentarily. So they do manage to do a little bit of damage and get away more or less scot-free. And this is where I think their last hope lies. They're just going to have to outplay World Elite and split push and move around a hell of a lot. I don't know that they can win a 5-on-5 fight at this point.
I really don't think they can at all. I mean, you have Echo Slam to worry about, Ravage, Naga ult. I mean, heck, even Lycan is just a huge at this point in team fights, and he picked up a gem too, so much for that Lothar's being able to get a Loda in and out of team fights. I mean, that item choice really... I mean, Sniper, if you build him in like a carry capacity, he can be potent in the late game, but he really just hasn't built for that. He built for like a mid-game, kind of try to end the game at 20 to 25 minutes, and they had that window, you know, they took the bottom racks, and then they just started going, wait a minute, Naga Siren Tide, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, help, you know, like, we don't know how to do that yet because we haven't got to play against it, which makes sense. I mean, it's happened in Dota 1, I'm sure. Oh, no, XY.
And Ice is going to be caught and ensnared on the top side. We see XY drop. On the bottom side, we're going to see Invoker drop. And, yeah, that might just be the moment where Zenith lost any hope. They're just, I mean, they were doing what they needed to do. They're going to have, the only chance they had is to split up and try to catch World Elite out of position. But Manta Style now done for Naga Siren. Hang on, they're going to try and pick off Icy. They've got a chance. Venomous Gale plus ulti, keeping him locked in place. And we're seeing Loda do some damage now. So, forcing the buyback, that's a step in the right direction. But, I mean, he can buy back. So they got a kill, and they got some gold off of Lycan, but they didn't get much else out of it. But, I mean, at this point, Siren, with the completion of the Manta, the Diffusal, of course, tanky as hell from the Heart of Tarrasque to begin with, can just one-on-one pretty much anyone on the Zenith side. And whenever you have the option of allowing her to solo defend a lane against any one person, it creates a problem for what they're going to need to do. It looks like World Elite wants to end the game right now. Sand King is going to buy back. Pipe is popped. Zenith not going to go out without a fight. XY goes in with the Burrow Strike. Now, though, we see just look at Siren. Just stand there and take it. Just out-damaging XY. She is going to drop, it looks like. Yes, she will. Chin there with the heal to keep the team alive and extend this game at least a little bit. Ravage is up in 2 seconds. And he's going to just die. So Zenith punishes World Elite, showing a little bit of hubris, thinking they can just rush down the lane and bang on the Ancient. Not going to be the case.
I really don't understand why they did that. Not only because of the fact that hindsight is 20/20, but because when I was looking at Tide was walking down mid, right? He had about 30 seconds left on his Ravage, and I was thinking to myself, if they push with their ultimates up when they're inside of the base of Zenith, then Zenith is going to lose.
Right.
You can't play against those ultimates. They could honestly Naga ult, kill the base, and Ravage and just kill the throne before they can do anything. They even had to pop the glyph right there, and they weren't even tunnel visioning the towers.
Right.
But they didn't wait for the Ravage. They just ran in. Tide died. It's up right now, so he clearly didn't use it. And we're going to see more action mid.
Yeah, we are going to have a fight. Going to be a good Echo Slam. World Elite taking some damage. XY making a run, trying to use the BKB to stay alive. Rock hits, does some damage, and all of a sudden, World Elite's got 4 people are dead. Holy crap. Zenith able to catch World Elite. Kind of just standing around, doing bad things with their thumb that I won't say on the stream. And now they're... Are you kidding me?
Game over, man. Game over.
The clip... What the hell just happened? Big throws.
Well, I feel like I just watched a game of catch.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the last one to throw in this particular case was World Elite. I mean, okay, they had that game in their hands. Like, when the Tide and the Naga were going down middle lane, I'm like, oh man, this is huge. The Naga ult's going to be up in like 15 seconds. Tide ult's going to be up in about 30. They can double pop ults and tunnel vision the base and win the game. That's all they had to do. That is literally all they had to do. They even had, I think Lycan was coming with them as well. There was the third person who was going to come into the team fight. But, I mean, just the decision making at the very end, maybe a little bit too overconfident in their lineup that they were winning the team fights pretty much from, I don't know, like the 25-minute mark onward.
Yeah.
But, man, that's got to sting. That's really got to sting.
I'm speechless. Player of the game, Sand King. I think we both agreed on that probably 20 minutes ago. 51-minute game. Sniper, 7, 6, and 12. Not usually what you want out of a carry. 309 last hits, not too shabby. Naga Siren, 12, 6, and 15. Lycanthrope, 11, 6, and 15. Shaker, 9 kills himself. 5 for Tide, 24. This is one of those games that if you just saw the box score, you go, like if you're reading a newspaper and you saw the box score, the lineups, the time on the Radiant victory and what have you, you would just read it and go, oh no, obviously somebody misprinted the headline. There's no way Zenith won this. They did. 51 minutes in, 1-0 the lead in this best-of-3 World Elite. Not sure how they're feeling. They're probably looking forward to this break as much as Draskell and I are. Hope you guys stick with us through the break. I'm AC, joined by Draskell. We got game number 2 of this best-of-3 coming up next.
team
Well, we've had a few moments to think over what happened in game number 1, and the only thing that I can really bring to mind, have you ever seen that picture? It's like all over the internet, it's older than the internet. It's like the picture of the pear with the big mouth, and it just got the caption underneath, just what? W-A-T. I think I'm still kind of right there, Draskell. Game 1 goes to Zenith after the sniper pick, and really, I think, I usually don't mention the chat, but I think they really hit the nail on the head. If we waits 30 seconds before charging down middle lane, I think they win. Instead, Zenith takes it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what everybody was saying. I mean, I said it too as soon as it happened. I was like, why didn't they just wait for Ravage, you know? Like, they had abilities that they were using, that combination of the Naga sleep, and we could be possibly seeing it again. I'm not sure if Zenith is going to choose to take Tide away from them here. It is a possibility, given the fact that that would have been the reason they lost if it went that late. And obviously having a hero like Sniper, who isn't necessarily the greatest, especially with the item build that he went. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, let's just go push down mid and not have the abilities that we've been using to win the team fights for the last 25 minutes. Let's see how that goes, especially when we're actually in our opponent's base, which is harder than defending our own. So, yeah, the decision-making last game from World Elite in the later stages of the game, really poor. I can't really say anything other than that. They played a great mid-game. They managed to defend their base, and I was saying it too. I mean, man, it's really hard to push into that, and it was. I mean, it took them a very, very long time to win the game, even though they were so far ahead at the middle stages. About 22 minutes in, the goal lead was getting close to 14K, and that's a lot. So
yeah,
I think that World Elite's going to be kicking themselves just a bit, but they already are on the path of retribution here as they pick up Naga as their first pick.
Yep, Naga picked up pick spans, going much quicker this time around. We'll run through them very quickly. World Elite takes out Invoker Chen and Shadow Demon. No Darkseer, Furion, or Queen of Pain. Going to be seen courtesy of Zenith. And I see Loda once again changed his name. And love you, Loda, but damn it, wear your right tag. Don't make it just a big cluster of capital letters.
Well, that's the stand-in, I think. Yeah, that's the stand-in. Loda is just Zenith. He doesn't have an actual name.
Well, let's see. Oh, good. Let's make it more confusing, can we please? Anyway, Tidehunter is going to be picked up by Zenith, so they will take the Tide away from World Elite. And I think that's a solid, very solid decision to make right there. We saw just how potent Naga Siren paired with a Tidehunter can be, but now we're going to have Earthshaker and Sand King still in the pool. 2 more heroes that are going to synergize very well with Naga Siren.
Well, there's a lot of things that synergize with Naga. I mean, her ability to be able to position a team fight perfectly is what makes her great. I mean, you can pick up heroes like Enigma as well. Any hero with a channel ultimate is going to be great because you can just get right into position. You know, if you catch somebody out, you're not accustomed to that kind of range. You know, 1200 range is a freaking lot, man. That's double the range of any 600 range hero. And if you think about it in a lane, you just double that distance. That's how far away that sleep hits you from, and it's a pulse. So even if she doesn't catch you with it right away, if she keeps running at you and you're not faster than her, she will eventually get you. And then, of course, you have to worry about being accidentally grouped up in some cases for heroes like Earthshaker if they want to bring that out as well. I mean, there's just so much you can set up with her. And they're going to go with a Lycan again, so pretty much the exact same picks. They're not going to have access to the Tidehunter this time, though, which I think is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, we'll see how they decide to build Lycan as well. I still think they struggled a bit early on. I mean, again, getting Vlad's up on Lycan, you're going to do that. It's going to happen. But just given what they were up against, I feel like they might have been better served going with Necrobook. We'll see what they decide to do this time around. Enchantress is actually going to make an appearance. A hero that used to be first pick, first ban worthy, and now instead is just seen situationally. With Chin banned out, looks like they are going to want to run her out of the jungle. We'll see how they want to use her. And they may just want to pour it on early. They may opt to run her as an offensive tri-lane, but of course Enchantress always great coming out of the jungle. And a defensive tri-lane, going to apply pressure, have the ability to apply pressure to mid and to the safe lane as well. Venomancer rounds things out for Zenith, so yeah, a lot of the same heroes as last time, but I mean, Leshrac making his way through. Leshrac and Tide, just 2 very, very strong heroes, and I think Leshrac's going to go a long way for Zenith in shutting down any aspirations World Elite might have to push early.
Well, not only that, but he's pretty decent against an Naga Siren too. If he gets a decent start, if he is actually playing a carry role and not just a support. I mean, teams do it kind of either way. It's really up to their preference. But I mean, Pulse Nova Edict, AoE's pretty much out the wazoo. I mean, Leshrac's bringing it all to the table, and that's great against illusion strats in general, just being able to burn them down and whatnot. And just really overall, the hero is really, really good. Going to see CK ban that along with ES, so nothing too shocking. I think the ES ban definitely makes sense. Again, lining up Echoes is very, very easy when no one on the other team can move. So I think that's a step in the right direction here from Zenith as well.
Well, we know from experience, Loda does like Leshrac. No way to know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if they do decide to run Leshrac as their carry. Obviously, Loda will take the reins, but there's a good chance they'll run him mid as well. Loda, a very solid mid Leshrac. Enchantress could confound that a little bit again. Just so the potential for her to come out of the jungle at any point and apply pressure not just to the obvious lanes, but to middle, if there's any overextension at all from the mid hero, is very much present. Enigma going to be banned out last, and we're going to see Brewmaster come out. So the potential for a Brewmaster Leshrac mid-war.
Well, this is really interesting by World Elite because they're picking like two what I would consider god tier like teamfight heroes, Brewmaster and Naga Siren both, because when you have Brewmaster Ultimate, you could take a hero out of the fight for I think it's 8 seconds the Cyclone lasts for the air aspect.
Right.
And then you have an AoE sleep on top of that. So right now Zenith is going to walk into a team fight and they're just going to be all disabled. Like
Yep.
I mean, it's just a really, really annoying hero to play against in general, and I think as time goes on, teams might just start banning it out simply because of that. I mean, you see some kind of quote-unquote throwaway bans nowadays. I mean, people like to ban Furion, but he hasn't really seen as much play, and honestly, the effectiveness of the hero has fallen off a bit anyway because people are learning how to play against it. You don't see as many, like, oops, we forgot there was a Furion deaths, as we used to see. So maybe we'll see Naga Siren kind of get into the ranks of being banned in the first stage. I'm not entirely sure, but, I mean, the hero is just so forgiving, you know? Like, you just walk into a team fight, even if you're a 10, 20,000 gold behind like we saw last game. It's, I don't know. It's really easy to turn things around with that hero.
Templar Assassin still in the pool. Want to point that out as well. We've seen Zenith run her to quite an effective degree. Don't know they're going to want to go that there. Oh, wow. We're going to have Pudge.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got a sniper game 1, and now we get to see Pudge almost certainly handled by Loda in game 2.
Well, if I didn't think they were trolling the first game, there is a possibility. I mean, I don't know why the heck you would ever pick a Pudge against this team, just like the sniper last game. But hey, they won last game, so what do I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're just casters, man. We don't win Dota tournaments. We just happen to commentate them. Speaking of, thanks for joining us, viewers. If you're just tuning in, I'm AC, joined by Draskell for this broadcast. This is a best-of-3 round-of-8 matchup between Zenith and World Elite. Game 1 is in the books. That went in favor of Zenith. Surprising win going in favor of Zenith. Game number 2 on the way, as soon as we get our last picks out right now. And Shadow Shaman, yeah, it's another pretty good teamfight hero from World Elite. Let's see. I mean, whatever, Zenith. I'm not even going to guess anymore. Just pick whatever. It's up to you, man.
Well, World Elite has an amazing level 6 team. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
You walk in, you have Brewmaster who can pop his aspects, you can ward trap the easiest, like, you can't get any easier than not having somebody move to ward trap, right? So that's going to help him out in team fights as well. I'm not sure if he's going to be supporting or not. I think he actually probably will be in this game because they have Brew, Lycan, and Naga who all need farm. So I do think this is going to be a support Shadow Demon. At this juncture, I mean, having a Pudge against this lineup, they have 2 disables in a lone Shadow Shaman getting rid of his Dismember. Then they have the Boulder from Brewmaster. Then they have the Lycan who can just, I don't know, kill you.
Yeah.
And then you have a Naga Siren who can ensnare you and put you to sleep. How is this Pudge ever going to get an ultimate off is beyond me. I think that Storm is an okay pick here, a little bit risky. If he gets a quick BKB, he's able to get in and out of team fights, you know, get a decent start. I think that he'll do okay. But the Pudge is got to be a side lane Pudge, I would imagine, or maybe he's just going to go mid and they're going to babysit the Storm on the offlane. I'm not sure. Either way, I suppose, is viable at this point, but I think the Storm is going to be the one who needs the better start, so he's probably going to be in a safe lane.
We'll see. Again, I'm just kind of giving up on trying to predict what Zenith is going to do. I'm just going to talk about what I see and not what I think we'll see. But what we are going to see is a game 2 to remember. Pudge and Storm Spirit rounding things out for Zenith. Shadow Shaman, an excellent addition to the already formidable lineup that World Elite had picked. And we'll run through our lineups. Let's see who Loda's going to be playing on. Loda, okay, let's see. I'm going to guess, yeah, it looks like Loda changed his name back, so that is going to be Loda playing our Pudge. And our stand-in playing our Tide Hunter, XY, who played a phenomenal Sand King in game number 1, going to be handling Storm Spirit this time around. Freedom, going to be playing on our Venomancer. And slightly out the gate, we got Ice playing Leshrac on the other side of the river. We're going to have Luau playing our Enchantress, Lycan, going to be handled by Icy. Naga Siren, played by FNTY for the 2nd game in a row. Chan, going to be playing our Brewmaster. And Gigi playing our Shadow Shaman. Looks like World Elite no longer using a stand-in, so they've got the band back together for Draskell. And we'll see if Zenith's up to the task against the full squad. They were up to the task in game number 1, but again, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade. Niceness be damned. And, wow, they're going to smoke up. Let's see what they're going to be heading into the jungle. They want to get a good start, and this is a good way to do it. Moving out as a 5-man gank squad, going to be very strong. No point spent in an ability yet for Leshrac. Storm Spirit has already put a point into Static Remnant. Pudge with Rot, actually, not the hook, as his first ability. Venomous Gale, the first ability for Veno. They're going to be spotted by Luo, though, so it looks like this is not going to be successful. Luo able to see him on the low ground, and yeah, Zenith going to come up wanting.
Well, getting Rot at level 1 is pretty standard, by the way.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you hook somebody in, like, you can't really do anything other than just hooking them. It's only 700 range, only does 90 damage, so it's not that great unless you want to really pull somebody out of position and have, like, follow-ups, which they do, but it's really more standard to see the Rot at level 1 because you can basically just indefinitely run at somebody and they can't ever get away if you ever catch them, so...
Yeah.
They were just kind of going for a gamble right there. It didn't really pay off for them. I'm going to really be curious to see how the lanes are working out here. Yeah, Storm is heading towards top. I kind of figured he would be in the safe lane. And we could potentially be seeing a tri-lane Pudge.
Looks to be the case. Tidehunter and Veno going to be keeping the big boys safe. Loda going to have an outstanding game. And let's call it what it is. Loda did not have an outstanding game 1. He played Sniper, and that's all needs to be said. He played Sniper. He did what he could. Questionable choice in build at one point, opting to skip the BKB until late, and it really, really meant he just died a lot. He just could not really get involved in fights after Naga slept him. But we are going to have a Pudge kind of hanging out by himself. Now Veno going to come back up. Brewmaster going to be supported by Shadow Shaman, hanging out near the creeps, and Tidehunter making his way back down there as well. And it is going to be Leshrac in mid, and I thought this is what we were going to see. Well, I really thought Loda would be handling Leshrac mid, but instead going to be Ice matching up against Naga Siren.
Yeah, he's going to be doing pretty well here for sure. The Naga Siren started with a stout, not started with a start. That would just be weird. But other than that, yeah, he's going to be doing okay. Riptide does a pretty reasonable amount of damage in the early phases of the game, and Ice is going for a quick bottle. So he only started with the 3-branch, 1 tango. Pretty standard stuff. His Storm's actually taking quite a bit of damage in this top line.
Yep,
XY being forced way back.
Yep. Oh, we see Luo giving chase. And Enchant back up in 5. Not soon enough, however. He is able to use a healing salve. But yeah, I mean, and this is really, I think it's going to be the case on both sides. World Elite they have a team that's going to allow them to make a mistake or two and not be punished horribly for it. Obviously, they can't let Pudge get out of control, but so long as they don't make a ton of mistakes to Loda, they're going to be able to do things like dive like that. And obviously, in a lane where they're at the advantage to begin with. But Enchantress I can only imagine she's going to be moving quite a bit. They're going to want to have her moving out and about, using smoke to apply pressure to mid pretty frequently too. So as always, it's just going to come down to movement and communication. And we actually saw a little bit of a mistake made on that front as well when World Elite went with double Vlads in game number 1. So, but hopefully that'll be corrected now that the full squad is here.
Yeah, I would assume so. I think the lanes are actually going to work out pretty well here for World Elite. Obviously, the Brewmaster is going to get farm. I'm not sure how well the Ross is going to be doing in levels. He actually gets hooked back here. Could be in some trouble.
Yep. Brew caught by the hook. Now we're going to see the Shackle cast on Freedom, however. Rot is burning him down. Let's see. Can they put it in the books? They can. First blood going to go to Loda. And he's actually going to pick up a double kill. And yeah, that's one mistake they're allowed to make, and they made it to the wrong person. Still, they've got the team fight potential. They're not in horrible shape, but they can't really do that too much more.
Yeah, the problem with Pudge is he's a lot like Lanai. I was saying earlier, that hero's like a snowball hero where if you get a couple of kills, it's really, really hard to come back from that, especially in like 2v2 or 1v1 situations.
Yeah.
And Pudge is a lot like that. I mean, you get killed like once or twice and he gets up like a decent boots and a couple of levels on you. It's really, really tough to kind of overcome it. But Venomancer looks like he's going to get picked off here, so that's a step in the right direction for World Elite.
Yep, Veno going to be caught out, and again, this is what we kind of expected out of Luo. This is, if you're going to run an Enchantress, especially at this stage of the game with all the new heroes that have been put in and the way the meta has shifted, you're going to have to be very aggressive with her, applying pressure to a lot of lanes. And rotating her down to bottom, I think, was a brilliant move. Ice and FNTY continue to kind of trade blows in mid. Both of them damaging each other, chasing each other. We'll take a look at the scoreboard to see how they're matching up. Tide has rotated to top, by the way. So we'll see if he ends up staying there or what our Enchantress is going to do next. Most CS on the board right now, 19 in favor of Brewmaster. Lycan doing pretty well with 17 as well. In terms of mid, Naga Siren with 14 and 19 for Ice Ice. So pretty solid. Ice Ice getting slightly better of the mid battle, though.
Yeah, that was to be expected, though.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, this Naga Siren's doing a pretty good job of keeping him harassed. He's actually getting a netted here. Could be in some trouble.
Yeah. And, yeah, Enchantress again. Luo playing brilliantly. Just going where he needs to. Hang on the backside. We saw Pudge setting up for a hook. Now he's going to be shackled in. Doesn't matter. The rot just burns him down so quick. But 3-2. World Elite. Keeping it close. They have given 3 kills now to Pudge, however. And now with the haste room, we see Naga Siren going to run up the top. And there's the ensnare, going to lock down XY. XY is going to drop almost certainly, and he will. Lycan there. It's a lot of damage coming out of Naga Siren and Lycan. We're going to have a full-on dive. Naga going to be absorbing the brunt of the tower damage. And Tide does drop. 4-3, favoring World Elite.
Yeah, a lot of action back and forth so far. The only thing that I wanted to mention about Pudge especially is the fact that that hero is so reliant on being able to land your abilities. Like,
yep.
You can either have an amazing game as Pudge, or you could just have a game as Pudge where you're like, wow, why did I even pick this hero? This was a waste because I just haven't been landing my hooks. But Loda looks like he's on right now, so that's definitely something that's going in Zenith's favor.
Oh, we have another Venomous Gale popped on Brew. Brew might be in some trouble. There's a point-blank hook just for damage. Shackle's going to buy Brew some time. Can Vino clean it up? Oh, Loda taking a lot of damage. He drops. Brew is going to be cleaned up by Vino, but now GG giving chase. Going to throw the Hex. Not enough. So Vino does make it back to safety. Really aggressive play there out of Pudge, and he paid the price that time. Now Enchantress shows up. Ice Ice making a run for it. Blows the enchant. Ursa Creep going to try a good long-range ensnare. The clap from the Ursa. Split Earth off the mark. Ice Ice in some trouble. Looks like he's going to find his death here in the river. Almost certainly. Bottle's keeping him alive. Yep, there's Lycan. Coming out of the high ground. Oh, good Split Earth. Oh, wow. That catches 2, and now the support is there. Pudge is there along with Tide. And they are just going to go ahead and back out for the moment. XY does arrive, though. Remnant does some decent damage, but he's going to drop kind of for free. Tide and Pudge both backed out at the wrong time. Now Loda's going to die. Tide having to make a run for it. What could have been a very nice turnaround, either to just escape or to try and fight, was just kind of a cluster. Some went in, some pulled back, and instead just a couple of kills on the board favoring World Elite.
Yeah, it was just a miscommunication. What's really hurting them is the fact that the hero that's getting a lot of farm, and I mean by farm I mean kills right now, is Pudge. And Pudge only has 1 base armor at level 5, and if you get Riptided, basically you're sitting at -4 armor against a Lycan who already hits ridiculously hard. I mean, we saw how fast Loda dropped right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like his hero doesn't have that much health. He has almost 900 at 6 or 7 minutes. That's pretty decent, actually. So, yeah, the synergy between the minus armor and how much damage Lycan does in terms of physical and auto-attacking, like, that's why I was really kind of questioning the Pudge pick in itself, too. Not only do you have interrupts, but you also take a tremendous
Loda is going to catch
damage.
Brew. Brew with the ulti up already, though. Blows it and is now going to focus down Vino. Vino just basically being left for dead. Storm aspect. Tosses Pudge in the air. And, oh, wow, blocks himself in. Look at Freedom buying time. The ulti's going to wear off soon. He's going to commit. And he does commit, but now Pudge is there as well. There's another hook, and he gets the kill. Brew, I think, would have been better served just saying, okay, Vino got away this time. Instead, they feed another kill to Pudge. That's his 4th already in mid. Looks like Ice Ice is going to get away. He does. Split Earth bought him the time he needed. Landed on Luo. In the meantime, top XY making a run. Pulls back after Lycan gives him a bang or 2 in the face. 8-5, favoring World Elite. World Elite, again, obviously, just by their team composition, going to be favored right about now, like as you pointed out. Very strong level 6 team. But 4 kills given to Pudge at this stage of the game is going to be a problem.
It is going to be a problem to a certain extent. I mean, really, when Rasta hits 6, they already have the Brewmaster level 6 as well, by the way. That Venomancer played that perfectly. Like, made that Brewmaster commit so much, taking him out right there, the higher level rewards. And he could drop again here, too.
Yep, going to be caught by the ulti. Split Earth going to follow it up. No clap from Chan. Chan is going to drop, and who got the kill? Looks like that was Pudge again. The hook is going to be off the mark. Decent shot there from Loda, but that's 5 kills to Pudge. 5 of Zenith's 6 kills to the big boy. And this is what they need. I mean, and you and I have talked about it. We've casted Pudges a couple of times, certainly a lot more than we casted Snipers. If you pick a Pudge, you're kind of all in on the Pudge. Either the Pudge has a great game or you just lose. 5 of their 6 kills. Pretty good start. Here we go. Venomous Gale going to catch Shadow Shaman. GG pulling back, waiting for help. There's going to be another hook. GG is going to drop. And it looks like Pudge may play the price, but Ice is there with a good Split Earth. Buying Pudge a little bit of time. He is just going to end up dead under the tower. But 10-8, favoring World Elite, now chasing down Ice. We heard a buyback. In the meantime, bottom tower continues to stand for the moment. Giving pursuit. Ice looks like he just wants to get back to safety towards middle lane. And yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the scoreboard. It's 5-3-3 for Pudge. That's what they need more than anything. It's just going to depend on how well he steps into things now that we're through the early game. He's had the good early game he needed. Now he has to have an effective mid game. And Siren.
And
yeah, Siren's going to drop. And it looks like Chan may be able to pick off Ice as well. Nope, he actually has to phase away. Bottle being used to keep Ice in the fight. Oh, Pudge hook. Just barely off the mark on the low ground. Enchantress is there. Going to be caught with a Split Earth. Nothing there to follow up, however.
Yeah, Lycan actually managed to get a Silico top. Man, he's 4-0-1 and 56 CS, so he's basically almost free farming, and he has that many kills. Top tier tower is going to be in some trouble here soon. So the fact that Storm Spirit has not been having the start that he wanted, he's 0-3. He does have 41 CS, but I don't really think he's going to be able to recover too easily from this kind of start.
Down in the river, a little bit of damage being done. World Elite rotating to bottom. Zenith heading that way as well, trying to keep this Tier 1 bottom tower alive. The wards were dropped by Rasta. Taking a bit longer to clean them up than you'd expect, really. Tower down to about a third health, give or take. But yeah, Lycan's going to be a big part of the story as we move it in the mid-game. I agree completely. Vlad's already up. And good free farm so far. Well on his way to that 100 CS mark at 20 minutes. Especially if he keeps it up. And I mean, at this point, there's just not a lot Tide's going to be able to do. Just sit there and soak up experience. Zenith, though, looks like they want to get a fight in the books in their favor. Smoke is up, just waiting on World Elite to commit. World Elite, though, playing very cautiously. They have 3 in the jungle, waiting to see if Zenith is going to move out on them. And, let's see. Continuing to just bide their time. Zenith now with a little bit of bait. And Storm Spirit. See, Pudge hook just barely misses now. That's going to be their mark to go. Venomous Gale going to catch 2. And it looks like they aren't going to go, actually. Thought they, with the miss of the Pudge hook, they may just go ahead and try and charge down. In the meantime, top tower does drop. Lycan manages to take that down. Tide is rotated to mid in the meantime. On Sire, oh, beautiful ulti. Manages to catch 3. There's the clap and the ulti. And the Veno ulti as well. And, yeah, Loda can barely move at this point. Just locked in place with chain stun after chain stun. XY just finally lands from the Storm aspect of Brew. Doing what damage he can. Almost got a kill, actually. Now Tide's there. Throws out the Gush. That's a 3-for-0 trade, however. 14-9. The kill score now favoring World Elite. And look at top. Our Lycan just continues to do work. Almost brought down the Tier 2.
This game has a totally different complexion than Game 1, so I really feel like World Elite has kind of brought their A game the second time around. They picked Naga again. I wouldn't be surprised to see this hero ban in the next game. Out by Zenith, just pretty much, nope, don't want to deal with this anymore. It's getting a little bit too much, or getting to be a little bit too much for them at this stage.
Lycan overcommitted on a heavy dive. TP reactions now from Veno and Pudge. Pudge is going to be able to catch him with the ulti. Venomous Scales there as well. But the Rot, I mean, it's doing damage to both of them. And we see Loda actually having to break the engage for the moment. Veno, the only person giving chase. Loda just kind of bringing up the rear. Let's see. And, yep, is going to die. But on the bottom side, Tier 1 tower does finally drop to World Elite. And yeah, this is definitely not where Zenith needs to be or wants to be. I mean, Pudge is doing all right. He's doing okay. Doesn't have a single point into his flesh heap yet. But he's got the kills on the board. And, I mean, he's just going to have to take the game over. I mean, he's 5-4-4 now, not nearly as good as he was just moments ago. He's died a few times. And he's missed a couple of big hooks, in fairness. I mean, you're going to have that. I mean, you have to throw your hook out there and hope for the best. But Loda's going to have to be landing almost all those big hooks for them to stand a chance much past 20 minutes.
I agree. I mean, again, it's just the hero is so reliant on the player.
Yep.
that's why a lot of teams avoid him. I mean, we saw Pudge picks in the past and stuff too. We could be seeing some action bottom. We're going to see TP out from Naga Siren, but just going to get stuck.
There's the hook they needed. See the ulti, or excuse me, the mirror image popped from Naga. Not enough, doesn't matter. That's another death that goes to Pudge, and that's what has to happen every single time. There's a chance to land a hook. Loda's just about going to have to land it. Otherwise, we're just going to see World Elite just walk over top of them and start forcing team fights by the 20-minute mark easily. In fact, right about now is probably when we're going to see them start trying to press that issue a lot more heavily to begin with. And, yeah, I mean, they're running as a gang squad now. Leshrac with Storm Spirit and Pudge going to be looking to pick off anyone they can. Just if nothing else, to take some momentum away from World Elite. World Elite just is in a great situation right now. And Pudge is there. Let's see. Oh, come